Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Today we're going to talk about Hedera Hashgraph. It looks like it got a major industrial use case with Avery Dennison. As you can see, for the last 2 days or so, this only shows yesterday, but if you actually go to 1 week, you can see that for the last 2 or 3 days it has sustained 500 TPS, and it's processed millions of transactions. Now, most of these transactions, as you can see, are HCS. And those are consensus messages. So someone's saying like consensus messages are not transactions, you know that, so your tweet is just hype for plebs that don't understand. So what are Hedera's real daily transactions? However, HCS right here, it says HCS is used by applications in production to track provenance across supply chains, log asset transfers between blockchain networks, count votes in DAO, monitor IoT services, and more. So they can be like tracking consensus, tracking provenance. So it definitely could be Avery Dennison. So having sustained over 500 TPS is definitely a pretty big deal in terms of actual industrial adoption. We'll have to see if it continues for more than a couple of days. We've actually seen other blockchains reach this type of TPS for even a week or two and then taper off. We'll see if this is like consistent after like a week or two. If it is, then there is definitely something going on in production. Hedera is actually working on a lot of these partnerships. For right now, it is the blockchain with the most transactions per second running right now. They are all HCS messages, but that could definitely be used for Avery Dennison and provenance. They're also at Davos right now explaining what Hedera actually does at this point. Now, this actually proves a few things. One, if this is sustained, then HBAR definitely has good industrial use case. Two, if you actually look at the price really hasn't moved at all. So what this means is like it does actually prove my, sort of like support my point that generally these industrial use cases may not actually affect price that much, because you're expecting 50 million transactions that to actually generate more price action, but it has not generated any more price action right now. And Hedera is basically at the same price it was, excluding like the pump for all crypto the last few days. So despite it actually having these HCS transactions, the industrial utility and adoption, which is very, very good by the way, it still hasn't achieved that price. It still really hasn't achieved price because the ecosystem or like the DeFi and the NFT stuff is not there. And if you remember in the last bull run, the DeFi and the NFTs were the ones that actually kind of pumped the price. So it does support my overall theory that it's really not industrial utility, industrial production that'll actually affect price the most. It definitely is DeFi, NFTs, and building the ecosystem. But however, this may affect price because it might get people to actually FOMO in on the massive amount of transactions in the next bull run. That is yet to be seen, but it is definitely a possible outcome. So Hedera is rising up the ranks in terms of like, blockchains I'm interested in. It was already top 10, but now with this possible utility, sustained utility, if it goes down in a couple of weeks, I still like it, but we've seen that before. But if it keeps maintaining after a couple of weeks on this kind of TPS, then they definitely have something big going here, and that could actually raise price in the future. Of course, like I said, it could also just be, like a one-time onboarding thing. We've seen that for VeChain and other things before, where like, I think VeChain was like Deloitte onboarding, had massive transactions for a couple of days and then it like died down. But this could actually be sustained, and that actually might generate hype the next time the next bull run comes around. But I still think HBAR for that really, really big burst in price does actually need to build the ecosystem more. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. I'd like your opinions on Hedera, and I will see you guys later.